The following is an account of the last 14 months, summarized and raw. Best experienced in the background. Eat your meal, do your cardio, get your work done, and join me on this journey from ground zero. If you are someone just starting your fitness journey, or are someone who has experienced setback and adversity such as myself, you may find some value in my rambling. If nothing else, appreciate the present moment and understand that it is both a privilege and a miracle to exist at all. Thank you for your time and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Hopefully my audio sounds good. It has been a long time since I've made a video. I don't even know if I'll post this video or if I will do anything with the footage I'm recording right now, but for my sake, I think it's a good idea. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've posted a video, and my bodybuilding lifting journey has not gone anywhere where I thought it would, and really either has life, but it's been pretty good. Quick update, I moved to Tampa, Florida about a year ago, and it has been absolutely amazing. I love it here. The weather is beautiful every single day. There's always stuff to do. It's fantastic. It's much more motivating being in a nice, warm, happy place, but I've been missing a big part of my life, which is bodybuilding. As you know, that's what this channel was originally about. So what happened? If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, which I'm sure you don't, because I've got like no followers, nobody even knows about my account. You'll remember last year, I was looking fairly big, like mid last year. I was pushing 200 pounds. I was in the high 190s, pretty solid, still somewhat visible abs, looking pretty awesome. And then something happened. My digestion just kind of like stopped. I wasn't able to really eat anything. I was having a really hard time getting food down and doing all the things you need to do. As you know, if you're not eating enough food, getting enough protein in, it's kind of pointless to be lifting because you're not going to gain much of any muscle at all. In fact, you might even lose some. So that was the position I was in. So I paid a couple $100 for a gut microbiome test. Basically, you mail your shit into this company, and then they give you a report. I could probably throw it up on screen. And this report says all the stuff that's wrong with your gut. And there was a bunch of shit wrong with it, apparently, allegedly. And I thought, oh, this is it. This is why I'm feeling tired. This is why I have brain fog. This is why my performance in the gym isn't going as well as I want. This is why I'm having trouble eating all of this food. It's because my gut microbiome is messed up. So I spent like $1,000 on supplements, and for 4 months I didn't eat any gluten, dairy, a bunch of different specific spices, and I ate low FODMAP, which is, it basically leaves like nothing. You can eat like nothing. If you know what low FODMAP is, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, yeah, you don't have many options. So yeah, I did that for like 4 months, and I dropped from about 200 pounds down to 160 pounds. So I lost basically all my muscle. I was back down to, pretty close to my starting weight, which was not awesome. Not an awesome feeling going from like fairly big, like people notice, people call it out, to very skinny. Was not a good experience, but I stuck it out because I'm like, hey, we'll be better off set for the future. You have to do things in life that you don't want to do so that you're set off better for the future. So yeah, I followed through. I did not cheat once on the diet. It was absolutely perfect. And I think things did improve a bit, honestly. I'm a big believer in gut health, and I believe that that affects everything, your mind, your body, digestion, obviously. So I went through this gut protocol, took a bunch of antibiotics, antivirals, supplements to kill different things, and then went through a regrowth phase to rebuild all the bacteria in my gut. So that started last August, and then that was August through December-ish. I was doing this gut protocol. I'm like, all right, January's here, let's fucking go. We lost 40 pounds, let's put it back on, let's get in the gym. And things came back rapidly. And when I say rapidly, I mean like insane. Like within 6 weeks, I put on probably 20 pounds, was looking fairly large again. It was freaky. Like things come back crazy fast. Muscle memory is absolutely true. Once you build that myonuclei bank, it never goes away. So that's why it's so extremely important that you build that bank up in your 20s when you can, in your early 30s, because you'll have that for the rest of your life. And later on in life, when it's harder to build that new muscle cells, it's a lot harder to maintain. So yeah, I lost 40 pounds, lost a ton of my muscle, and within 6-7 weeks, I was already looking like pretty juicy again. Okay, so what happened after that? In January, like I said, I started lifting pretty hard. Just putting on some, my cat's in the litter box. Still in the litter box. You done, Miss Kitty? Okay, she's done the litter box. As I was saying, August of last year, I started this cut protocol thinking that was causing all of my issues. Did it through about December, lost 40 pounds. That brings us to January. Is she back in the fucking litter box? Oh my God. Miss Kitty. She'll get out, pretend she's done, and go back in. Okay, now are you done for real? Jeez. So that brings us to January of 2024. Yep, so I started lifting hard again. Things were going absolutely fantastic. I was looking jacked, feeling great. Things were awesome. And then in March, I started getting this really weird symptom. When I would lift weights and lift heavy, I would start feeling a little bit of pressure in my head. And it was subtle at first, but it was very odd. Like I would do a set of bicep curls and I would feel some pressure in the back of my head. I would do some lat pull downs. I'd feel pressure in the back of my head. I couldn't do anything bent over. I would start feeling pressure in my head. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Very weird. I was pretty convinced that maybe it was a brain tumor or something, because that's the first thing that came to mind to me when I had pressure in the back of my head. So I kind of stuck through it and just did what I could do. I would just go in the gym and just do my best and lift the weights that I could lift, nothing more than that. And then in the end of April, it got to a point where, actually mid-April, I couldn't even do like 10-pound bicep curls without my head hurting. And I'm like, what in the actual fuck is going on? This is not good. And it kind of just all started rapidly going downhill from there. It got to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk around. I couldn't do anything, I obviously I quit the gym in April, kind of stopped eating because when you're not moving all day, you don't really have an appetite. And yeah, we living in Florida, we couldn't do the things we wanted to do. We usually go to Disney every weekend, had to stop doing that. And it was basically just trying to survive kind of for a while there. Thankfully, I am pretty medically literate. And, well, actually, first I should say, I got very lucky because my girlfriend was scrolling on TikTok and saw a TikTok video of someone saying they had this condition that I'd never heard of, but the symptoms sounded eerily similar to what I had, like brain fog, vision issues, balance issues, memory issues. So I started doing some research on it. I'm like, okay, I am pretty freaking sure this is what I have going on. And so I started pursuing that. And luckily, I have an absolute baller friend group. All my friends are G's. And one of my friends, Brand Dog, who I love very much. And he's a doc, he's a PA. And I'm like, hey, bro, can you get me a fucking MRI? He did. I got a disc copy of the results, brought it home. And in looking at it, sure enough, I'm like, okay, well, this looks like Chiari Malformation to me. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to come back on the report. Sure enough, that's what came back on the report. So if you're not familiar with Chiari, which I'm sure nobody here is, it's a condition where basically your cerebellum, which is if you're facing this way, it's in the bottom part of your skull right here. Basically, it's falling out of your skull. It's either your skull is misshapen or something else is pushing your cerebellum down, and it protrudes through the foramen magnum, which is the hole at the base of your skull, and basically blocks the hole between your spinal cord where spinal fluid flows in your brain. So your cerebellum is falling out of your brain. So yeah, it is as pleasant as it sounds. And again, I had done lots of research and reading. People had gone through this, and I was extremely effective in my execution to where I didn't wait to go through the typical medical process of going to your doctor, getting an MRI. them not knowing fucking shit about it, so nothing happens. And that's what happens to most people with this condition. They don't get diagnosed for average 7 years because the medical system doesn't really know fucking anything. Your average doctor has zero intelligence. They know how to prescribe base medications. And you really need to go to specialists and people who know what they're talking about. So I did a bunch of research on it, found out about the Chiari Institute at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. Obviously, Johns Hopkins is a huge hospital system. I found their top neurosurgeon for this condition, consulted with them, sent them my paperwork, and we scheduled brain surgery because he said, yep, this is the problem. It's got to be fixed. So in July of this year, I had brain surgery, which was not very fun either, as one might imagine. I was out of work for 6 weeks, just in bed. It was a fucking terrible time, but it was at the point where I'm like, well, I literally cannot wait to get the surgery because, I'm stuck in bed all day. Everything sucks. I'm like, I need to get this fixed. Like, there's nothing else to do. So within like a month of my first appointment, I had a date for my surgery. So we flew to Baltimore and stayed there the whole week. Went in at like 5 a.m. for surgery, and basically there's a few different ways they can do the surgery. A slightly more invasive way and a slightly less invasive way with less complications. And usually they like to start with the less invasive way if possible, if they think it'll work, because you have a lower chance of spinal fluid leak, meningitis, and others. So I had what was called a bone-only decompression. So they cut open the back of your skull, and you're not going to be able to see the scar, I don't think that well, because my hair is completely covering it. The barber left it long on purpose, but I don't really like it. I'll post up a picture of it, though. I'll just put up the picture of it, the scar. So they cut open the back of your head, and they remove part of your C1 vertebrae, called the C1 lamensectomy, to create more space so that those tonsils are not occupying the entire space, so that spinal fluid can flow through to the brain. And then on top of that, they do what's called a cranioplasty. They cut out part of the back of your skull, hollow it out so that there's more space, and they then take a titanium mesh plate and put it on the back of your skull, which kind of holds up the cerebellum and gives it more space, and then they screw it in. And on top of that, there's a bunch of just thick tissue in there, and they just scrape that away. So yeah, it was pretty intense. I was in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days, something like that. You're put asleep, you got a catheter in. It was not fun. The first 6 weeks of recovery were absolute hell. Instantly, right after the surgery, I felt better, like into where I didn't have the pressure in my head anymore, but you still have all of the complications of having your head cut open. Your literal neck muscle being sliced completely open and pulled apart. So after surgery, obviously my neck hurt pretty fucking bad. And those first 6 weeks are pretty uncomfortable. You'll get extremely dizzy, nauseous, and all these other things, because now that spinal fluid's entering your head, how it's supposed to, your brain is quite literally moving, and it needs to find a new home in your skull. So I actually felt worse. I was pretty scared. I reached out to my neurosurgeon. I'm like, hey, what the fuck's going on? I feel worse because your cerebellum's literally moving around in your head, and that's the part that kind of makes you feel unbalanced and whatnot and nauseous. So imagine you're literally moving that around in your brain for weeks while it adjusts. You're going to feel just like dog shit. Week 6 made a big turnaround. Started feeling a lot better in that I could start doing daily activities again, like walking around and just enjoying the day. Like, we'll go to Disney a lot, but I just still have not rode any rides yet. Miss Kitty, what's wrong? She wants to get in the bedroom. Got my suitcase in the background from, where'd we go? Oh, we evacuated for a hurricane. Yeah, so the first 6 weeks were terrible, then it started getting better. Now after that we started going to Disney again. Obviously don't ride any rides, but I just walk around, enjoy the day, enjoy the sights. I could only really do like a half day. Couldn't spend the whole day there because I just get too tired and just need to lay down. Now we are going into week 12. And I'm still not riding rides or anything. I still really can't do a full day of anything quite yet, but I'm starting to feel pretty much somewhat normal. I'm thinking about going back to the gym today, probably in the next half hour here to the apartment gym, just doing some light cardio, some stretching, and maybe literally curling, 5, 10 pound dumbbells, doing like a 20-pound chest press, something just to kind of test it out. The concerns for me in lifting, even though I have been cleared by my surgeon, are the scar tissue is still forming, right? So if I push it and increase intracranial pressure from lifting, as you know, you get that tenseness in your head when you're lifting, it could cause damage and in turn create more scar tissue, which then occupies the space that we just created in my head. And also the other concern is while the C1 vertebrae area is healing, you can have something called, I'm going to say it wrong, but basically intracranial instability, because you've taken off a piece of the vertebrae that your brain actually sits on. So you can have some instability there until scar tissue and other forms around it. So I don't really want to damage that. So it's been 12 weeks. I think it's going to be a good 6 months till I can fully lift again, like January time. But yeah, I just need to get back into it. Lifting has always been a massive part of my life and my stress control, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys. And imagine you're going through all of this and that gets kind of yoinked from you. You can no longer go to the gym. So you're going through all this and your stress outlet is gone. So I've done some other things to kind of keep myself occupied. Like I've gotten really into firearms. It's one of my favorite hobbies too. And yeah, just trying to learn different things, planning, diet, all that. But now that I am considering going back to the gym, it's been 3 months, which since surgery, and let's see, I haven't been to the gym since April, so even longer. What's that? 6 months since being in the gym. Months since being in the gym, and losing all my muscle and being back down to 168 pounds currently right now from 198 pre all of this. It kind of feels like I'm going to the gym again for the first time, which is a bit stressful. You know, when you first started the gym and you were nervous and going in there, what are people going to think of me? I don't really know what I'm doing. That's what it feels like right now, even though I've been training for over 6 years and have been, at least to myself, fairly bigger than most people in the gym. Yeah, it feels like going back for the first time, which is a shitty feeling, and I know it's hard. And a lot of you may be going through that. You might be a beginner. You might be going back to the gym for the first time. And I want you to know, I'm kind of going through the exact same thing, all of those same first-time stresses again. I don't know how my body's going to react. I don't know if I'm going to get hurt. I don't know if it's going to be a grand success. I don't know if I'm going to lift for a couple months and then my brain sag more and I'm going to have to go back for another surgery, which is unfortunately very common, and throw it all in the toilet again. You know, the future is extremely uncertain. That being said, that shouldn't prevent you or me from going to the gym, enjoying it, getting a good pump, and bettering ourselves every day. It's going to be hard not to feel judged when I'm going in there and looking skinny again and lifting 10, 15 pounds for a long time, and but you never know what somebody's going through. They could have also been large and lost their size, or they could be someone getting into it or doing it for any reason. So it's very important not to judge people in the gym. Everybody is there for the same reason. That's why the gym is such a great place. Everybody is there to better themselves for a better tomorrow. Everybody starts somewhere, and you can't get anywhere unless you start. So there's that. As you might imagine, I've learned a lot about myself through this process, my mental resilience, because it has been hard basically doing nothing for the last 7 months after having just gone through the gut protocol, putting some muscle back on, and moving to my dream home, and then having that torn away. When I first moved here, there was a gym I was really excited to go to, that they were announcing that they're going to open, called Tampa Gas Works. I was going to be one of the first members, sign up, early before anybody else, and then that obviously didn't happen. And since then, Anthony Mantello, one of my favorite, and the Trend Twins have moved down here since I moved down. So it's kind of like it's becoming a spot, and I would have liked to be a part of that. But, shit happens. And there's a lot worse things that could have happened, and I'm very, very fortunate that being a brain thing, it was just relatively small as it was, because it could have been much worse, and other people are going through much worse things. So it's important also to not feel too bad for yourself, because it always can be worse, and there are people going through worse things all the time. Kind of rambling. I'll probably cut this down pretty substantially. We're at 23 minutes right now. So what's the plan Going forward, I don't know. Probably going to try lifting very, very light weights in the next hour or so here. Getting some cardio in, because even if I can't lift heavy, I need to start exercising. When you don't move for a long time, you get quite tired and lazy. And if you don't feel like you're working towards a goal, that can suck. Even if you are working towards a goal of recovery. Best case scenario, I get back in the gym, everything feels great, everything heals up. I don't need another surgery, everything is dandy, and the rest is history. Worst case, it's going to be more surgeries and a couple more years of this shit, and I'll probably get into my 30s and it'll be game over. Just going to hope for the best and hope I can get back to doing what I love. I'm going to have to find a creative way to hit legs. Legs are never a strong point for me. But yeah, that'll create a lot of intracranial pressure, tax the C1 vertebrae, and apparently I had on my MRI report 4 or 5 herniated discs, which was also a surprise to me. So I don't really want to herniate them any further. So I have to be careful there too. So if you are just starting out in the gym, or if you're going through some health issues, or if you even have Chiari or other, feel free to comment. Let's support each other. And remember not to judge others. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they have gone through. You don't know what their current status is. Whether you think you do or not, you don't. In months. I drink like those Ghost energy drinks just about every day. I bought hundreds of them. But yeah, I figured even though I'm just going to do a little bit of walking and maybe some super light lifting, might be a good idea to take a little scoop of pre just for a little bit of motivation. So I'm going to take about 1 serving, which is really half a serving because everybody does the 2 scoop serving, not the 1 scoop serving. So let's see if this helps a little bit. It's the newer flavor, the blackberry lemonade. I picked it up and never really got to use it. So let's try it for my walking and stretching workout. It's like 1 serving is about 20 grams. So we're gonna use the food scale. Never been a pre-workout sipper. Yeah, always chug it. Even dry scoop sometimes. I don't dry scoop Gorilla, but small ones I will. Get a lot of water extra after because you want enough water for the glycerol to work. Now the other ingredients, if you definitely don't want to stop there, you want to drink some water afterwards, but I just fucking hate the taste of all pre-workout no matter what it is. I could never just sip on that shit. No way, Jose. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get down there then. It's my apartment gym, so it's very close.
Wake up to the sound of thunder, like it was in my ear. Are you gonna wait forever? I can see the stars reflecting, the empty tires made of steel. Everything but you is fading. I see your light, take me away from me, beyond the stratosphere. I'm burning up, you got me falling free into eternity. When you tear up my horizon,
Alright, this is going to be very embarrassing. I'm covered in hair. We're going to do a 6-month no workout, no eating, drop 30 pounds. Physique check at my very worst. So, I can only go up from here. A little embarrassing, but let's just see what we're looking like. This is 6 months of not touching a weight. Pretty hairy as you'll see. Yeah, haven't eaten anything really in 6 months. This is where we have regressed to. Well, this is the best ladies, but it's okay. So, quite embarrassing. Don't want to go through poses, but I'm going to go through some poses. Absolutely no muscle anymore. Yeah, my arms are completely shrunk. I'm swimming in my clothes. I probably want more footage though, so it's gonna stop me up listening. I need the meter though, so I'm just gonna put stand for me. My literally all gone. Side chest, little lats, right to the fans, gone. That doesn't lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna do too much of that, but that's ground zero, so here we are. Talk to you back in the apartment. All right, hopefully the audio is working. Where's my phone? Sorry for all the noise. The lady is cooking some dinner. Just wanted to hit on some post-workout thoughts and notes while I'm still thinking of them. We just came back in from the gym. Felt pretty good. I felt a lot better than I was expecting it to feel, actually. This was literally my first time touching any weights in 6 months. It's been 12 weeks since surgery. Tomorrow, I believe, is the 12-week mark, which is about the earliest I should probably be trying to do any of this. It's going to be a very slow road, long recovery, and try not to get injured. But all factors aside, felt pretty good. I felt a little bit of tension in my neck, but all in all, got some blood in there, and it was the first baby step towards recovery and eventually surpassing where we were before. As I kind of talked about in the before video, where last August I had gone through this gut health protocol and lost, I would say, pretty much all my muscle back to where I am right now. I went from about high 190s back down to 160s. I thought that would be it. I thought when I started lifting again in January and put my muscle back on, January to April-ish time frame, that we would just keep on the ups and ups and ups. But obviously that wasn't the case. We started having these other problems and was basically reset yet again, back to square one. So about 2 years of lost progress, essentially, because I lost all of 2023's, and then 2024 we didn't make any progress. So this time, instead of focusing so much on the gains and the progress, I'm going to enjoy the process, because I don't know how long I'll get to do this for. The future is absolutely unknown. Could have more issues, more brain slumping, any complications that might have not been what was actually causing the Chiari. And this could be another scenario where we get 2-3 months of growth and enjoyment, and then we're out of the gym for another 6 months. We don't know. So really just focusing on enjoying each workout, not taking it for granted. You never know when you won't be able to lift again. You'll get injured. It's a pretty famous concept, but when you have your health, you've got a million problems. You worry about a million things, but when you don't have your health, you only want one thing, and there's only one thing you're worried about. So don't take it for granted. Don't take being in the gym for granted. Every single workout's a blessing. Every single day that you're healthy and alive is an absolute blessing. The chances of being alive in the first place are astronomical, incomprehensible. The chances of staying alive and healthy are also absolutely astronomical. So you might not appreciate it, you might not realize it, but the odds of you being here today and still being here tomorrow are extremely slim. So appreciate it. I'm going to keep appreciating it and doing the best we can every single day. So I'll see you back in the next one.